Disney, a lot of their shows, after you watch the show on stage, like Beauty and the Beast and all, you have this one extra feature which is meet Beauty and the Beast after the show, which is where you can buy a separate thing and you can meet them and you can take a photo with them. Should you have a slap the artist?
Yeah, beat
post-show?
the comedian.
Beat the comedian is a separate fee. Some would be up for it.
Yeah.
That can be like if your ticket price is
If the
500,
comedian is in financial crisis,
they're like, listen, I'm giving you the option for a
beat the shit out of me.
beat the shit out of me, but
3
there's
lakhs
the
a
extra
person.
fee. Extra
Yeah.
fee.
And there's ambulance waiting.
All that is
and
there.
then you hit him. Kya bola? You beat him. You set the place on fire also.
Great.
It's all included in the price.
It's there.
Because the guy who's producing the show,
Yeah.
he's done all the maths.
Correct.
He's like, say comedian को मारेंगे 2-3 घंटा एक्स्ट्रा लगेगा
4-5 लोग तो ऑप्शन लेंगे ही मारने का.
और फिर वो पूरा जला देंगे और फिर कल पूना में शो है.
Monetizing mob violence is a whole thing that even the tech industry can get into.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that they can really access is that they've solved a lot of things. How do I get my biryani? How do I get my kebab? How do I get my detergent in 10 minutes? But mob violence, and how I'm saying this is where the tech industry needs to step in.
And
have a proper app, just monetize it properly, solve it.
And I'm saying sometimes go to, like, they might be like, very high demand to beat up the comedian Kunaal Khamra.
Correct.
But have you thought about a comedian who hasn't been beaten up?
Correct.
Who needs the money?
Yeah.
Not getting enough thrashing offers.
Without surge charge and all that stuff. There's nothing. You can just go. He's
500
casually
bucks.
waiting in his house. You can go and beat.
And then people will talk, no? Like, how long did it take you to thrash that? I waited for hours. You should have come for Rahul.
They sent
Subramaniam.
him home. I could slap him and he went away.
He's very open guy.
It was very good.
Very open guy.
He came, he sat, I slapped him and he left.
And
It
he
was
said
10
next-
minutes. It was faster than Blinkit.
Yeah. And he said, next time don't use the app. Call me directly.
Directly.
Hi, Kunal.
Hi, Pal.
Now we're back.
Look at
Table.
this. It feels like I'm in a dream.
Yeah.
It's like
A solid dream.
a solid.
The trouble
good.
is, I felt a little squishy in that couch.
I felt you had merged into the couch.
Those, sometimes you get those little, lamps which have those little globules in them that bounce around. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like this soft.
Yeah.
You see them on Instagram also. I felt like that inside, while I was doing the podcast.
I thought that you were going to slip into the couch between the armrest and the cushion.
Because I have a belly also. No?
And then you would be like lint that we'd have to just fish out from. Like, when you put your hand in and you find like old hairpins, a cell phone.
But soft.
Soft. And then you would also come out of that.
I'd be
crevice of
like
the
how
couch.
they make ice cream or cake or, like
Yeah.
that. Like this. Yeah. So it didn't feel like a podcast. It felt like something squishy. This feels like a podcast.
Solid.
We're
Solid
saying
points.
things on a table.
Yeah.
We're touching things. Like
I have a pen.
this. Our podcast should be our last week. We say things, we touch things. Kunal has a pen.
Yeah.
Listen. This week, Kunal, I have a theory. And my theory is that there's a big debate going on about a Japanese animation studio.
Right.
And I'm going to mispronounce it. I think it's called Studio Ghibli. But
Ghibli? Ghibli?
Your Ghibli is my Ghibli.
Ghibli, whatever. It's Studio Ghibli or Studio Ghibli.
Blibli.
One of them is the studio that makes all those wonderful animated films.
Yeah. AI has figured out a way to do very quick animation.
Right.
In the style of Studio Ghibli.
Right.
Anyway, it's a Japanese animator, and he's obviously, people are saying he's upset because his style is captured. Now, I have a 2-point conundrum here. My first conundrum, not a conundrum, but I want to start a discussion, is I think tech people hate artists.
They hate artists.
Tech people hate artists because we were like them in school, weak, pathetic, but suddenly with a talent, they were able to find romance.
Like you could write.
Yeah, someone
You
could
had a
debate.
stand-up career.
Theatre.
Theatre. Arts.
And see, the artists have never had any, the tech guys never had anything at sports people. They were always unattainable. They were good looking, tall, sports, action. Those guys were always out of reach. They would have, they would marry the beautiful girls, etc. because they're in another zone. The closest competitor to tech was always artists. Arey, this guy is weak like me, he's pathetic, he wears glasses, but look, he's becoming popular through humor. He's becoming popular through debate, he's becoming popular through film, through poetry, some talent. And I think they've spent 30 years, 40 years making money just with that. I'll show them. I'll destroy them.
What is that? What did you draw? What did you draw? A flower. It's pretty, huh? And then he just takes it and he tears it. So it's basically that.
That jealousy is kept for years.
Right.
So it's, and take anyone, say in film, it's Scorsese's school friend, who's now a venture capitalist, who's like, oh, Scorsese, dated the girl I always loved.
Oscar winner.
4.5 hour mafia film. Chal, I'll make a 4.5 hour mafia film with this 2 lines of code. Fuck you, Scorsese. So I think tech is like that. It's the Spotify, whoever founded all this.
So what you're saying is what drives tech is jealousy.
Jealousy. Like the guy who started Spotify, whatever, at some point, the guy who funded it, he must have gone to school with Bob Dylan. And he's like, what is this guy? He's just got a guitar, he's got some songs, but all the girls are crazy about him. At one point, I'll put all his songs for free on my app. Then we see. This is a war between tech and art.
Correct. It's
AI is nothing to do with, they don't care about
conflict.
Laundry or easing your financial debit card, all
like
that rubbish.
nonsense.
It's technologists who hate artists.
So they're basically out to destroy
Artists.
all. Then they want to show it for what it is. Which
Film.
like, you think this is something that's so clever.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
machine I made
It's
will
this.
make it in 2 seconds.
There's a child in Korea who can do Godfather in 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Watch. Because otherwise there's no reason to go
trouble.
after fully normal professions. We
But
haven't done anything to anyone.
My fear is that what they've created might do it better than most artists.
See, we are frauds.
I think that's the first line. That
They
it
knew
should
that.
be- they knew that we are
Because
frauds.
the guy running 100 meters or the guy playing
There's no
football
fraud
for
in
school, that guy's
He
proving
has
it.
to run.
He's proving it.
There's no subjectivity in that.
We are frauds.
They are objectively running those 100 meters, catching the ball, hitting the ball, swimming the 200 meters, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
the Netflix guys-
ours has
yeah.
opinion in it. Na? Ooh, what a lovely poem.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great performance. And that's where it gets a little tricky.
Yeah.
Where it
and
becomes...
clearly at some point, Jeff Bezos or the founder of Netflix or any of these tech people or AI, whatever, there must have been that the girl they liked fell for the guy who could just
It was
play the Beatles or something.
Yeah. Oh, he's playing the guitar, the bastard.
So
Yeah.
then he decided, I'm going to make sure anyone can play the Beatles.
Yeah.
All tech has done is said, this thing you do, anyone can do it.
Hmm.
Comedy. Anyone with a phone can upload comedy on Instagram. Then now let's see how good you are.
So now I think that what the artist should do is offer the anti-AI. Right. So I'm saying that now, since it's a direct competition,
It's battle.
it's battle. So what you can do is with your phone, you get in touch directly with an artist
Yeah.
for an opinion.
Yeah.
And it can be anything. And
Yeah.
it can be a rubbish opinion also.
Yeah.
But AI is not going to give you that opinion. It'll be a direct artist's opinion.
Yeah.
So it'll be very much in contrast to AI will make sense. It'll be logical. It'll actually give you Studio Ghibli. But I'm saying that say suddenly someone sent you a message saying PAL project has come in, you have to paint this guy in the way of Miyazaki. Okay? And you suddenly just do some shit on your thing and you give it. This is it.
Anuvab Pal.
Anuvab Pal. But this doesn't look like Miyazaki's thing. This
But it's an Anuvab Pal.
But it's
doing a Miyazaki.
doing a Miyazaki.
But this is like our podcast.
How can you replicate that?
But this is like a podcast. People ask us ridiculous questions and we have ridiculous answers.
Correct.
AI can never give you this.
Maybe. Maybe we are AI.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
you put in enough of our bullshit into data and you'll
And
get
then you'll
this.
just get the same response.
But I'm saying that we didn't start this battle.
No.
But
But we're
we have
going to end it.
to end it. We are going to end it. So AI
Yeah.
We are coming for you.
Yeah, we're going to break
Because
you.
you've come for us. We never came
You
for you.
came for us artists.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now we're coming for you.
You just see the questions I'm going to ask you now.
Yeah. Recently in Bombay, there was an incident with a comedian
Yes.
who said something against the deputy chief minister.
A friend of ours.
Friend of ours, a friend of the podcast. And he said that the deputy chief minister of the state we live in is a traitor, etc., without naming him, without naming any names. And the people in his party went and vandalized the venue.
Right.
And this, I'm not bringing up, my conundrum has nothing to do with the comedian. Enough has been written about it.
Right.
And whether he has a right to say what he does or not. My issue is, I don't think Bombay has enough venues that are open to mob rule. I think we are thinking incorrectly about venues.
So you're saying that it's not mob friendly enough. Because when I saw the videos,
Yeah.
it was quite pathetic because there wasn't much to break over there.
The venue is called Habitat.
Right.
It's in Bombay, in the suburbs, and this is the 4th or 5th time it's been vandalized.
Right.
A while ago, there was something against a comedian called Agrima Joshua some years ago,
Right.
and they had gone back to Habitat to vandalize it. But the guy, the leader of the mob, was very upset because he went in the room. He said, "Yahan kuch hai hi nahi." And they didn't know what to do. And one guy went and just banged his hand against the back wall, broke some glass, and left. In the end, needed stitches and just injured himself. So, just out of courtesy, the venue owner at the time provided some chairs so they could break something, so a video could be made. This time they did some breakage, etc. There was some stuff.
Some lights were broken.
Some lights were broken.
Yeah.
But you have to at least allow the mob to vent.
So what you had recommended was a sort of disposable venues.
Permanent disposable venues. And you had gone further to say, let's extend that to restaurants, cinema halls.
Because I think that, offense is not necessarily taken only to comedy shows.
And anyone can take, what we're hearing in India now is,
It could be for
anyone
anything.
can take offense to anything. It's not about politics.
At any time.
Anytime.
So it could be at a restaurant for the food you're served.
Yeah.
It could be at a film. It could be at a comedy show.
Say I'm watching a film at PVR and there is a 5-minute monologue against dhokla.
Right.
And I get damn pissed as a Gujarati.
Yeah.
I want to break something, Trouble is now in PVR, what can I break?
It's tough.
And I've got dhokla around me, I'm disturbing people around me. He said, kuch thod pod karna hai, kya karu? And people say, shh. You have to give him an environment.
So you're saying, is it a separate room of only for only?
What I'm saying is, take a park, put up tents.
and show the film there.
Yeah, a comedy, even restaurants can be use up Bombay, use up Delhi, use all the open spaces, make everything temporary.
So So I'm saying that, say you don't like a high court ruling,
Yeah,
the high court should also be in a
it should
tent.
be temporary.
It's a temporary structure.
Yeah.
Because you don't know when the mob will come and say, "Ye ruling hame pasand nahi," and just
And
burn it
break down the court.
Break down the court.
It's no problem.
But it's
because
okay
it's
because
a
it's
tent.
bamboo and jute.
It's a tent. He said, karo, मैं judgment दे दिया, फिर आप लोग को जो करना है करो. And the judge will leave.
Yeah, and I think that that's the problem with permanent structures in general.
We have to think of India as Japanese houses, which are earthquake prone.
Earthquake, and which fall conveniently.
Yeah.
So, without any too major injuries or anything like that. So stuff that's, what you're saying is more mob friendly architecture.
Exactly. What I'm saying is that one of the biggest problems in India is that someone wants to just go, He's got no place to do it. Because now the people that broke this, they have to go to the police station. But they're still not satiated. They want to hit the comedian. I'm saying let it be a free for all. If the comedian can run away, he can run away. If the mob can chase him, he can chase him. But why constantly destroy buildings? Let people live in buildings.
But the space for destruction should be separate.
So when you're walking into a film or a play or a comedy show, as an audience member, if you want to get into it,
To destroy.
it, you could get into it.
Should there be an extra fee, or it's included in the ticket price?
See, these are like when you get...
You don't know.
Yeah, there's a word now in Hindi, bharka out, which means like when you suddenly get pissed, you
It's
don't
random.
know. You don't know. Because then suddenly if I'm angry at this comedian, क्या बोला क्या बोला? Then you have to be like, अरे वहाँ से कूपन लेके आओ.
No, it's too long.
50 रुपया का कूपन छुट्टा नहीं है फिर मारो उसको. No, you just want to do it there.
Immediately.
So maybe charge a premium, but just always be ready. You might have people who don't want to get into it. They're like, acha, we are leaving. But the venue is ready. So the whole thing will collapse.
So there was this, the Disney, a lot of their shows, after you watch the show on stage, like Beauty and the Beast and all, you have this one extra feature which is meet Beauty and the Beast after the show, which is where you can buy a separate thing and you can meet them and you can take a photo with them. Should you have a, slap the artist?
Yeah, beat the comedian.
Beat the comedian is a separate fee.
Ask the comedian.
Some would be up for it.
Yeah.
And with photo, without photo, whatever it is. So that can be like if your ticket price is
If the comedian is in financial crisis,
they're like, listen, I'm giving you the option for a
beat the shit out of me.
Beat the shit out of me, but
3
there's
lakhs
the
a
extra
person.
fee. Extra fee.
And there's ambulance waiting.
All that is
and
there.
then you hit him. Kya bola? You beat him. You set the place on fire also.
Great.
It's all included in the price.
It's there.
Because the guy who's producing the show,
Yeah.
he's done all the maths.
Correct.
He's like, say comedian को मारेंगे 2-3 घंटा एक्स्ट्रा लगेगा
4-5 लोग तो ऑप्शन लेंगे ही मारने का
और फिर वो पूरा जला देंगे और फिर कल पूना में शो है.
Monetizing it is a great thing because I think that monetizing mob violence is a whole thing that even the tech industry can get into.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that they can really access is that they've solved a lot of things. How do I get my biryani? How do I get my kebab? How do I get my detergent in 10 minutes? But mob violence, and how I'm saying this is where the tech industry needs to step in
And
have a proper app, just monetize it properly, solve it.
And I'm saying sometimes go to, like, they might be like, very high demand to beat up the comedian Kunaal Khamra.
Correct.
But have you thought about a comedian who hasn't been beaten up?
Correct.
Who needs the money?
Yeah.
Like a Rahul Subramaniam, mild, or nice, funny comedian.
Correct.
Not getting enough thrashing offers.
Without surge charge and all that stuff. There's nothing. You can just go. He's
500
casually
bucks.
waiting in his house. You can go and.
And then people will talk, no? Like, how long did it take you to thrash that guy? I waited for hours. You should have come for Rahul
They sent
Subramaniam.
him home. I could slap him and he went away.
He's very open guy.
It was very good.
Very open guy.
He came, he sat, I slapped him and he left.
And
It
he
was
said
10
next-
minutes. It was faster than Blinkit.
Yeah. And he said, next time don't use the app. Call me directly.
Directly.
Yeah. So,
And he's up for parties also, mostly for groups.
take his
Mostly for
number.
groups.
Take
Yeah.
his manager's number. Talk to him personally.
Book
Comedy
my
fee.
mob violence, it should be called.
Correct. And then years later, people like, hey, that MF Hussain, he charged too much for the thrashing. Because
Those were different days, yeah.
But people
now
didn't-
tech has fucked this whole mob scene. I'm saying tech will come and they'll fuck mob
this
violence
also,
also.
This also. Because they'll be like, arey yaar, this thing, he charged 8 lakhs for a thrashing.
Back in the day, we used to just go in on a free. Now they're charging us, bastards.
And we're not even beating him that much. 8
Yeah.
lakhs he's pocketing
And
for.
1-2 slaps I gave him, then they said enough. In my day, I used to slap the hell out of him.
Hospital only charged 30,000. He pocketed 5 lakhs.
These
This
bloody
is
tech
unbelievable.
guys.
He's doing 3-3 a day now.
See where he's gone.
3-3 a day. He's claiming he's broken his legs. He's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I saw him in the club drinking. Just destroyed it. Art without repercussion is no art at all.
Correct.
We need a name for this app.
Thrash. We are
Thrash.
going to take a cut of the app. Let me just be very clear.
Yeah.
Whatever, because the tech people out there,
Like GPay, it'll be like.
It'll be
because
like
we are now at war with tech.
yeah, slapanartist.com, whatever
Yeah.
it is, whatever
We
you
need a
come,
tighter
you come
one.
up with something. You
You
figure
do,
it
you
out
do.
and you give us recommendations for what this app should be called.
Something shorter, Thrash.
Thrash is a good, yeah.
Or we could buy an existing domain. Baiju.
Because
there
already
is-
Thrash, but I think
there's, there's already some underlying thrashing.
there is.
So, and there's a built-in audience that's angry.
That's angry, yeah.
Because their classes are not happening. So we just change the model. He's like angry.
This is what they
that
call
you're-
a pivot.
We pivot. See, we are learning. You're
We're
learning tech
learning.
terms. Pivotal.
I'm half tech.
Because you're half tech. You're pretty much Steve Jobs. Or
Jerome.
whatever. Yeah. Who?
Another guy.
I know, different guy. And then we pivot to comedian. We'll have different categories. Education.
Yeah. I mean, there are
Comedy.
many options. I think that our
Food.
listeners will come up with the best.
Yeah.
Like,
and some of their own categories also.
offend. I don't know, something.
Yeah.
Offended.
Yeah.
Something that's like just a simple sort of thing.
Yeah. Many names for the app.
Yeah.
Or something no one's expecting. Tamil Nadu.
Chamat. I don't know anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Chamat. Yeah. Noise of a thing.
Chamat.
Yeah. But that's what I think
for
that is
you.
the future. That is
that
future.
is the
And
future.
venue owners, be more open minded.
Please.
You're
don't
trying
be
to
so-
keep everything within buildings. It's not good.
Be a little flexible.
You got to let people burn things down.
There, just let them.
Yeah. If you go to Instagram, it's full of like, I don't want to live in India, taxes are very high, potholes, air is not breathable, I want to go abroad. Then they say, where do you go? Dubai. Then you go to Dubai Instagrams, and those Instagrams are like, don't come to Dubai, very expensive, underbelly, seedy, you'll never be a citizen, don't come to Dubai. Then you say, where do you go? Then you say, go to London. Then you go to London, and they're like, don't come to London. Phones are stolen, traffic, garbage. London is not London. America. So don't come to America because people are being arrested on the board. So, I mean, in the old days, nobody had this information. People hadn't gone to those countries and they were not posting videos.
You have to
saying,
actually go there and experience it.
Go there and be like, oh, this is why it's rubbish. And then it's too late because you're there already and you spent all the money. So then 30 years would pass and you just be there. What is the answer here? Like, where is it best?
It's best where you're comfortable, I guess. Yeah.
My theory is I'm most comfortable where I can distrust the person I'm talking to. Confidently and in my native language in my head. So the thing is that sometimes when I'm in the US or in the UK, I get overwhelmed because I'll see a very well-dressed gentleman speaking to me in a very logical, educated way, and I'm in awe. Now, I am always uncomfortable in an environment where in my head there isn't a little thing that goes off that says, "ये मुझे कैसे चूतिया बना रहा है?" Which is loosely translated to, how is this man trying to cheat me?
How is he fucking me?
Yeah. I mean, you and I have been friends nearly for 20 years. We've been doing this podcast for over 10. And both of us think that of each other.
What is his long game?
We are sitting here thinking, how is this guy trying to cheat?
What is he getting out of this? Kuch to hai.
And we are friends.
Yeah.
And this is how we think of each other. Which is the core DNA of being Indian.
Correct.
And so I'm comfortable here. Because
know.
I distrust my close friends.
Correct.
I distrust my family. The core DNA is,
Yeah.
there's something else here.
I think very early on, it's a slight segue, but very early on, I was just out of college, not really out of college, but in the late years of college, and I was thinking of going abroad. And I met some, there was one of those education fairs.
Cities are full of them.
Visit whatever, something the UK, whatever, and I applied to some places. And I was wanting to study photography, and you have to take your portfolio and you take your thing. So I took my thing, and the guy I was interacting with was an English guy, and he tried to build up the thing quite, like, oh, but I see this in your work, but then you'll get to study this and you'll get to know that.
Because he's plugging his university.
He's in some level plugging his university, but very quickly into that thing, I also figured ki he has something to sell. He was a salesman of universities. Like, of course, he's not going to like give anyone admission. I get that. But at some level, he was there to sell a product. That product was an education. So earlier I went, like, I'm thinking that he's an education guy where these people are not really looking to sell you anything. They're looking for your benefit, But then very quickly I understood that he's a salesman.
Yeah.
I was dealing with a salesman. I was not dealing with an educationalist.
But do you think at some other level you also realized that maybe you thought he'd have different values because he was an English person?
Correct.
But then
Little
you
bit.
realized that he's as untrustworthy as an Indian person.
So then I just changed the skin color a little bit and I thought that this
guy's cheated me before.
Yeah, I've met this guy before.
Now, the thing is that if we lived abroad long enough, then maybe we'll get comfortable because we've cheated enough and I've lost enough projects, or
But then,
seen the corruption, or whatever.
so what we ultimately come down to when you try and analyze what place is best.
Yeah. I think at the core it comes down to where you understand the scam.
Scam. Because
Like,
there
what is
also they're
home?
scamming.
Home is, can I read the scam?
Yes.
Whatever
Can I
it is.
understand what is the trick here?
That's what scam is. And I think abroad has this veneer of respectability. So it takes a long time to understand the scam. You know?
Whereas here we know what the scam is
So
and we
I'm
live
comfortable. Because we've discussed this many times on the podcast. When a guy calls you for any work, or even if we work in an office and someone says, just listen, I need to talk to you about something. You've already decided that that thing is not the thing he wants to talk to you about. That there's something you have to read between the lines of what he really wants to talk to you about. Oh, he's inviting me there, but what he really wants is for me to buy this mutual fund.
in it. Right.
So we have to read between the lines
Correct.
and understand. I think that is home.
Yeah.
My biggest problem abroad is I can't read between the lines.
Whereas here, because we've been trained now and we're
Yeah.
comfortable in knowing what the scam is,
Yeah.
we can play it.
And abroad, sometimes you get very confused because there is no between the lines. And sometimes it is very honest.
And sometimes you're reading between lines that don't exist.
They don't exist because we grew up in a culture of distrust.
Of
I mean,
looking
this
for
guy
lines.
said a thing and then it was the thing he said.
That's
And
damn
I went
strange.
there and he paid me and I did the job and I left.
What does he want?
What does he want? So I'm not comfortable.
What's his game?
I don't have a close friend whose family makes, and this is going out to listeners as well, if you are
Just
interested in inviting me. I don't have a close friend whose family makes biryani on Eid night. Now, I live in a neighborhood where there is tremendously good biryani served on Eid night. Great parties, excellent. And I get to see it. I'm close to it.
It wafts through your window.
Oh, yeah. And I've seen people like leave. Are they iftar parties? They're iftar parties.
Yes.
Leaving after having like an incredible lamb biryani meal. No one invites me. And my conundrum is, I don't want to tell the person this is my only reason for my friendship, but I want a slightly devout religious friend who also throws great iftar parties. And I'm not finding it because that can't be the basis of friendship.
Why?
So I want to lie. I want to say, hey, do you want to play pickleball? But how do I quickly ask someone, are you, from an established Bori Muslim Mumbai family? And would you call me for a nice biryani meal, which is the basis of this whole friendship?
The fear also is that you befriend someone
Yeah.
and then they don't have that party.
Correct.
And
Or they
then-
don't
then-
call me.
And
Because they think I
then
won't be
your whole
interested.
year-long thing of friendship
Yeah.
has gone to waste.
Correct.
Because you've spent all that time, you've called, whatever, maybe gone out for a drink or whatever it is, dinner.
Full
or something,
friendship.
Full friendship, done some errands together.
And he doesn't
bank
even
work,
know.
given advice. What car should I? All that thing. You have all those things have happened.
And he has no idea the friendship is because of this.
Of that one
iftar
invitation that I need. And if he doesn't throw it, and he's like, I'm going to my aunt's place for iftar party. Arey, we had a great meal.
Party. Yeah. Eid Mubarak
Eid Mubarak.
takes off.
And then, but I've seen a lot of people who maintain friendships.
Yes.
Like
With complete dicks.
with complete, like there are a lot of people who have that, one or two Parsi friends.
Yeah.
I mean, who you'd otherwise maybe not be friends with.
Yeah. Boring.
Boring, whatever, talks all rubbish, whatever. But they have that odd navjot or they have the odd wedding. And you need to be invited for that. You have to have the Parsi bonu, the sit down banana leaf thing. Now, if
And that
you
pulao is
that
apparently
the
mad.
pulao dal or the or the sasni machi, the patra, the farcha, you need these things in your life, right? So now you are going to, and you don't want to eat it at like a restaurant, and it's not the same, right? You want to eat it at a Parsi wedding.
The game is another level at
It's
these
another
private
level.
things.
So then at those points you have to cultivate these friendships.
And my
And I
problem
think
is
every friendship has an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
It has some baseline thing. Oh, we like to talk about this together. Oh, this is our commonality. Here, this is the commonality.
this is it. But
Right?
my luck,
But-
given my luck, I'll just be putting that mutton biryani in my mouth, and the guy will be like, Arey, I found out the whole friendship was because you wanted this invite. And I'll be
Right.
like, no, 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 I really like you. And he'll chuck me out. You know,
Well,
like,
take it parcel.
yeah. Just, yeah, correct. Because, I mean, if it is that, then just give it to me in a parcel.
Parcel, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's some, don't you think that there are certain cuisines
Yeah.
which only come to life at the ends of festivals in private homes in India?
100%. 100%.
That biryani you can't get anywhere.
You can't.
It's, I mean, you can't even befriend the chef.
I mean, there were. I mean, and this is a vegetarian meal, but there I've endured so many pujas.
Yes.
Because of the puja food at the end. I love that. I mean, it's vegetarian, but it's great because there's like this black chana, there's a suji halwa, there's puris, there's a aloo which is in a gravy aloo, a sar, and this thing aloo. There's like bhopla bhaji which I love. There's like 5-7 things where you can really gorge and have a great meal. So all of that makes it worth it.
And
It's
that
like a reward
friendship,
at the end.
the
right?
guy could be like racist, sexist, misogynist.
It's okay
You've tolerated all that just for,
for
that.
that meal.
Yeah. I just need one friend like that. I
Yeah,
need to
you
find.
need-
It's hard to make a friend at 48, but,
It's tough.
but I'm going to try. I just have one last conundrum here.
Yeah, I actually there was something that
Yeah.
that occurred.
You came across.
Yeah, I what happened was that I went to this doctor's office. I was sitting there, and doctors have a lot of certificates on their walls and awards. So lots of this one had the room full. It was like wall to wall.
It's usually FRCS Edinburgh. All of
those
that.
are your certifications.
Yeah. Which
Th-
makes
those-
patients feel good, right?
It's like, certificate hai.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
abroad, typically from abroad.
So those were there. Those were about 3-4 of them. But the rest of them I started studying. I said, how can the person be so highly qualified that it's wall to wall certification?
Yes.
So then I started seeing it, and there were lots of awards there.
Yes.
And a lot of them was for participation.
Yeah.
A lot of it was for observation.
Yeah.
A lot of it was for in appreciation of doctor, whatever. There was stuff which was just random stuff. It was just awards for coming to a function. It was those kind of awards. It was just tons of them, certificates.
Do you think he made up some of them?
No, I think because there were some with photos also. There was photos also there, so I think he did attend a lot of them. But finally, after all of that, I saw one which said best batsman. And so that's when I kind of started questioning all the other things, because
Yeah.
as soon as you see best batsman, then you're wondering, one sec. So what is this for? What is that for? Was that for like some other sport or game? Because then I'm wondering that can you pull out all your certification for everything that you've done in life? Like you've done, like you came third in like freestyle in the 4th standard, or wheelbarrow race in senior KG, whatever it is. Then you have lemon spoon race, 3rd place, but you're a doctor now. So how much
There
of
are
that-
some professions in India where when you walk into that sole proprietor's office, certificates make all the difference. One is lawyer.
lawyer, yeah.
Lawyer, you want lots of certificates, etc. Congratulations, because immediately you don't want to walk into a room of a guy that you are about to hire, where the credentials, he can't tell you his credentials. They have to be on the wall. Now, clearly, this guy didn't have enough medical. So
He had
enough
also.
medical, but then he wanted to fill the space so that after a while, not everyone is reading.
Right.
So he puts best batsman, Zomato Gold. He's
Right.
got one over there.
Yeah.
Then one Make My Trip,
Black
frequent
member.
flyer. And maybe 2-3 are just credit cards.
Yeah.
Because you are then lost. You're like, okay, I'm in safe hands.
Right.
Because it's a lot of certificates. The thing that confuses me is I've been to the houses of SFU, big Bollywood stars, and they have photos of themselves.
Is it because they forget what they look like?
That's the thing. Is it? Why is that? Because what is that a certificate of? Because sometimes it'll be the Bollywood star in a certain role. It'll be with one of my favorites was a big Bollywood star with the Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew. There was a massive. And I'm thinking like, I already know who you are. You are a big Bollywood star. Do I think more of you that you have a poster with Lee Kuan Yew? I don't know. I'm like, have you gone up in my estimation? I guess you have. I'm like, wow. You were in this film and now you're also with Lee Kuan Yew and you're with the Pope. So maybe I think of you more now. I think people want to, at least nowadays, you have Google, you can search. But when you walk into someone's office, they want to tell you this
Is me.
is me.
That's true. Because I did go to a doctor's office once where there was no certificate anywhere.
You didn't go with
But
the doctor. did
what
you?
he had on his walls were his interests. There are some doctors who like to put what I don't care about certificates and all. I'm putting up my interests. So there was a lot of travel photography. There's like landscapes and this thing and
Watercolors.
like watercolors and this that. I was like, this is all fine, but where's your certificate?
How do I even know you're a doctor?
How do I know?
Yeah.
Like these are things you like.
Yeah. Are you even a doctor?
Are you, so that was then the question that came to me.
Yeah.
So I think that some amount of certification on the wall is required.
Correct. Because otherwise you would have lost your cool and you wanted to bash him up.
You say, what is Arizona and all? You
Yeah.
talking the Grand
And
Canyon
trouble is that
photo.
it's not a tent.
No, I can't break it.
You can't break it. So now here's the thing: is like a bastard calls her a doctor. And he's like, hit me, extra charge, hit me. So it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Certificates solve
make
that
a
problem.
difference, yeah.
Certificates solve that problem.
True.
In fact, next time you are going for an audition, please make sure you audition in front of all your awards and certificates.
I don't have any.
That-
I have only
just-
the stuff from school.
But it could be anything. Why does it have to be? You have the Dead Ant comedy certificate.
Yeah, I
It's a
have
prize.
I have elocution competition on 9 standard.
Correct.
Came
I was awarded a banana for something in class 12. I've kept it.
You kept it.
The point is that, say I'm doing a job interview, I want all my certificates to be behind me.
I have silver and discus throw.
You have any family photos? Frame those.
I can
But
put
make
those.
it look like it's an award.
Yeah.
That's the game. It must appear. Just exactly. And two of those could be knives also.
Yeah.
You could be a chef on the run after a murder. It could be anything.
These are my profiles.
Correct.
These are my certificates.
Correct. And they're like, why is he naked? Why is he totally naked? That is unimportant.
That's not the point.
That is not the point. You went and made a glitch in the matrix by saying, "Arey, it says best batsman."
That's the thing. I
He
shouldn't
just
have read
wanted
it.
you to see his certificates.
Full thing.
Yeah. Just see. Like, hey, he's someone, he's framed things. Last week at audiomatic.in.
That's another tech related thing that you have to use to
Yeah.
send us your mail.
That's fine.
That's okay.
In the future, we'll move to pigeons. But
Yeah.
for now, it's Audiomatic and Our Last Week at audiomatic.in.
Our last week at Audiomatic that dodo.
Ghibli.
Bye.